Have you been wanting a battery box for your portable amateur radio activities, but you've been put off by the cost of buying a pre-built one or the cost of buying the components and the time to make your own? Stick around. I'm going to show you how I built one for a lot less cost and a lot less time. Next on AA3K On The Go. After I bought my 32 amp hour LifePo battery and I started using it, I realized I kind of needed some sort of protection because the battery terminals are otherwise exposed on here, and I didn't want to accidentally short out the battery capable of delivering 32 amps easily. So while I was in Harbor Freight looking for something else, I did spy their large 50 caliber ammo box. And being plastic, they do make metal ammo boxes, but I do not recommend getting one for a battery box, as there is a much greater danger of shorting out to the case. I decided to grab one of these, and these are only about $10 at Harbor Freight. Sometimes they even go on sale, and they're a lot cheaper. Harbor Freight also makes a smaller version of this, so if you're using a 15 or so amp hour battery, that would probably be ideal for using it. And their box is surprisingly very well designed, very sturdy. It has a gasket seal on the inside. It's pretty thick plastic. The handle does not penetrate through the top of the box. It snaps on. So when closed, this box is at very least water resistant and environment proof. It may even be waterproof. I haven't tried dunking it in any pool yet. So that became the basis of my battery box. I started looking at buying power pole ports to drill holes and put them in the box, binding posts in case you needed just to connect wires directly to the box, potentially a 12-volt accessory port like a cigarette lighter socket, as well as a cell phone charging port on it and such. And as I started adding all of these things up, the price was getting larger and larger, and I'm starting to hit like $75 or so for the case, and that's before adding any shipping, which would have easily pushed the cost to $85, $90. And I'm at the point that it may make more sense to buy a box. Add on top of $75, $85, $95 of the time and effort to drill the holes, and I actually don't think I have a hole saw of the right diameter to drill inch and a half holes to put in the various things in the box. I'm looking at, I might as well just buy a box. And then the thought hit me, as the battery fits in the box very well, and I could just open the box and have access to the pigtail that's connecting the battery. Why do I need to actually build an entire battery box? So let's take a look at how I put my battery box together without actually drilling any holes and without spending a lot of money. All right, let me first apologize for any shakiness that you may see in this video. The table that I use to film these parts of my video is not exactly the most stable banquet table ever made. A while back, at least a year ago, I purchased this lithium iron phosphate battery from, as I said, Battery Hookup, and the website is batteryhookup.com, and I will include it in the description below. And they were selling these medically used batteries, which are pulled from service on a regular basis, but they still have a tremendous amount of life left in them. They were selling them at a very, very good price, about $35, $45 or so, I don't remember correctly. They also now currently sell new LifePo batteries, about 30 or 32 amp hours also, and their price is very, very good. So I grabbed one of these to use particularly with my 7300 when in the field. And though it's a little bit heavy, I'll check the weight and put it on the screen here. It does come with a built-in handle, which makes it very easy to carry. For that, I had already purchased this power pole cable with fuses and ring terminals to use with the batteries from my camper when I first started operating portable in the field for parks on the air. So I transferred them from when I used it with my camper batteries to this battery. If you have a battery with spade lugs I also have this made up, just made from 2 inline fuses where you buy it and the wires are just in a circle. You cut it to the lengths you need. I just cut it in half, put power poles on one end, put spade lugs on the other end so I can connect it to my smaller LifePo batteries, or if that's the only battery you have. By the way, both of these fuses were red. I did put shrink wrap over the negative side and shrunk it down so I know definitively which side is red and which side is black. So initially, to use this box, I just threw the LifePo battery in there. As such, it's not a super loose fit. Excuse me there. It's also not a super tight fit. And as you can see, there's a little bit of chewing up here where the terminals from the battery hit the upper strengthening rib in the box, but it has been working out fine. And this also gives me just a little bit of extra room for carrying some additional accessories. As I put this into use in the field, I realized, hey, I might want to connect my cell phone to charge. So I did pick up this I did pick up this power pole expansion block or power block, and I got it from Quicksilver Radio when I was at Dayton last year. A little bit expensive, about $25. And again, I'll leave a link to it, and there's others available on the market where I can just, whoops, let me get that the right orientation. Why am I not getting, there we go. And I can plug it in, and now I have 3 additional power pole outlets for connecting whatever I want to connect. Now, usually I just connect my radio and off I go. But I have had the need to connect a cell phone charger, which would go into an accessory outlet. So I had made this up many, many years ago, and I just grab it and I now keep it in the box. I plug it in. I happen to have a 15 amp fuse in here. Might be a little bit much for this speaker wire here. And go ahead, just plug it in so I could run the radio and charge a cell phone at the same time. And again, I just keep it, voila, right in the box there. I also, for another project, which admittedly I haven't completed because I haven't found a switch 12 volt supply, I haven't found a switch 12 volt source inside the cab of my pickup truck, is I picked up this 12 volt to USB power converter, and this also does a very good job of being a place to plug in a cell phone, I should say a USB cable to charge my cell phone. And as far as I can tell, this does not generate any sort of RF noise. And I've used it once or twice like this in the field. I've also just used a regular cigarette lighter accessory port car charger for cell phones. I have this bungee or expansion or coiled USB to USB-C cable, which I have used originally with my DigiRig, but I found this was picking up a lot of RF, even at QRP levels, and causing problems for the computer and the DigiRig interface. So this now just becomes a cell phone charging cable that I keep, voila, in the box. And finally, if I really do want to know voltages and such, I have one of these power monitoring USB to USB meters. They're maybe not the most accurate in the world, but they do work. As a matter of fact, I was at a Hamfest recently for the Warminster Amateur Radio Club, giving them a shout out here, where one of the vendors there had about 8 of these in series connected, and they were all reading just about the same. Only 1 or 2 was maybe a 1/10 of a volt off in their reading. So their calibration seems at least consistent. I haven't gone as far as making sure the calibration is perfect. And I may actually pick up an extra one of these just to keep in here full time so I always know what the potential voltage of the battery is. Now, most of my portable amateur radio activity is only 4 or 5 hours tops. The longest has been winter field day where I was out for over 8 hours, and I used a solar power generator to generate 120 volts and run my power supply and keep my laptop going for the whole length of time. An addition that I am considering for this is to wire up a couple smaller than these battery clamps and wire them to maybe a little project box where I do have banana terminals or jacks where I can plug in banana plugs or just hardwire wires directly for any sort of powering of a 12 volt device in the field or a radio, or in case I have to help other people that haven't gone with power poles as their source of connection. But you know, if you haven't gone power poles, I highly recommend that you do start adding them to your equipment, or at least get adapters that you can connect your existing equipment through these. And I do recommend buying a pair of power pole crimpers. They are, you know, it's a little bit expensive to have hanging around the house, not using it every single day. But when the urge to go ahead and crimp up a set of power poles happens at 2 a.m. in the morning, you can just go grab this from your supply box or whatever off the shelf and put them to use. So, one final thing for stripping wires. I saw Mike K8MRD from K8MRD ham radio tube strip some wires with these, and I just had to grab a pair. These are made by Vice Grip, and you put the wire through, it grabs each end and it pulls off the insulation. This does a great job. It does not nick the underlying wires, and I've used this down to at least 16 or 18 gauge wire with no problem stripping it. It does seem to be a little bit made for, you know, larger gauges such as 16, 14, 12 gauge, maybe even bigger. But I'll tell you, this has been well worth, especially when I needed to strip some red black recently, and I just put both wires in and whoop, and I got an even strip on both sides. I should say I got an even strip on both colors of the wire. And as for using the box, it's just a matter of unlatching it, opening up the lid, and pulling out the pigtail and attaching whatever I want to the power poles on the pigtail. And if I wanted to, I can use battery clips to clip to the actual battery directly in here. Now, as for dealing with any sort of rain or such consideration, I can just close the box lid such as that. But if my radio equipment is going to be out in inhospitable weather, then very likely I'm going to be under some sort of cover or operating from within my car, which also means that the battery box will be in the same location. And there you have it. Battery box that I was able to put together in minutes instead of hours of drilling and wiring up or spending a ton of money buying one that was pre-made. And not to say that the cost of a pre-made one isn't justifiable. There is a lot of manual wiring to be done in one of these boxes. And that is the single most expensive part of putting one of these boxes together, just the time and labor. Remember, I'm trying to help you make the outdoors your ham shack. So if you find this information useful, please consider subscribing. Believe it or not, most of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. 73, and I'll catch you the next time on AA3K On The Go.